Thanks, Ryan. Hello, Bruce.
Hello, Jeff.
You know, at the beginning of the year, you were on record as saying that ownership had made a lot of promises about more investment in the squad, more investment in aspects off the field. Given that the team is for sale, how many of those promises were met, and what's left to be done?
Well, there's a lot to be done, I think, but you know we've improved things on the team side. Some of these projects were delayed, but we completed a team dining room, team meeting room, and our second field has been completed. So we'll have all of that in line for next year. So when the team shows up in 2026, we have all these facilities that are completed and ready to go. So that's a real plus.
And what's left?
What's left? Do a better job coaching the team. Do a better job improving the roster. And we also we're starting a new field in the stadium in a couple of weeks, which is a major improvement. There's been a lot of issues with the field over the last couple of years, so that's going to be changed as well for the start of the 2026 season. So we're making a lot of progress.
What's being done with the field? Is it like a drainage issue, or?
No, they had a combination of grass and artificial, and it's going to be a complete Bermuda grass field, which is very compatible with our region, the climate here and all of that. So we should have an outstanding surface from game 1 through game 34 next year.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next question comes from Ted Ramey. Go ahead, Ted.
Just looking back at the entirety of the year, you know, the defense kind of sticks out. Is that what you're thinking of in terms of improving the roster, or do you look at it more globally as opposed to just one segment?
Well, we can improve everywhere. We were an improved team defensively in 2025, but it certainly wasn't good enough. If we were a little bit better, we'd still be playing right now. So that has to get better. But I'm very confident in some of the young players we have that are going to come back. Reed Roberts and Max Floriani got invaluable experience last year, so they should be better for it in 2026. DeJuan Jones came in mid-year, and we lost him over the last probably 6 weeks or so, and he'll be back healthy next year. The same with Kokanovic, who was out most of the year. So I'm optimistic that despite the fact that we may not be bringing a whole lot of additions in our back line, we have players I think that can get the job done.
Your follow-up, Ted.
No, that's good for now.
Thank you. We'll move on to Robert Jonas, Quakes Epicenter. Go ahead, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce, for taking the time today. I know at the last game, at the end of the game, we started touching a little bit on some of the roster moves, roster improvements. You've now had a week to kind of look at that. I was hoping you could provide an update on some of those moves. I've seen some signings come through. One player in particular, Hernan Lopez. What would his future be with the club? And how does that sort of shape you up in terms of some of those larger signings, like DP signings or under 22 signings going into 2026?
Well, Hernan will be on loan for 2026, and then he's available to us after that. I think going back to Argentina can be a plus for him. If he continues to develop as a player, we'll have a good player coming back in 2027. In terms of the roster, we have until, I think the date's November 26, 27, something like that, to exercise options. We've met with all of our players in the past week, and we have a pretty good feel for what we want to do. And, I think, we're obviously looking at transfers and also in-league trades and the re-entry draft, as well as, we'll pick up a player or two in the super draft as well. So that'll be a way to improve our roster, and hopefully we will have a better roster for next season. But I'm optimistic that the players that are returning are going to be better in 26 than we saw in 2025.
a player I wanted to highlight there is Bo LaRue. He really leaned on him early in the season. He made a lot of starts, made a very strong impression. Him, Daniel Muni. You've got some young players coming back, but where do you see a place for them? And included in that conversation, how about Nico Shakiris, who we saw kind of really end the season on a high note? What future do you see?
Well, again, Nico was a player that missed close to 2 months with an injury. Then he had the U20 World Championship, so he missed a fair amount of the season as well. But the three players you mentioned should all be players in our plans for 2026. So, by the standards in world football, they're not young players. Maybe Nico could be considered young because he's 20 years old, but I think Bo and Daniel are probably 23, 24, 25 years old, but they're players that can play an important role next year. So, we're going to have a team that'll be very competitive to start the season, and we'd like to have 2 players in every position, like every team would like to have. So that's going to be one of our goals. So this time around, if we have some injuries, we have guys ready to step in and do a good job.
Okay.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Robert. Next question comes from Joseph Lowry, backheeled.
Hey, Bruce. Thanks for taking time to do this. Ryan, thank you as well. I wanted to follow up on Hernan Lopez. You mentioned, obviously, him continuing to stay in Argentina on loan through next season. Will he continue, Bruce, to occupy a DP spot while he's out on loan for the rest of this upcoming season?
Well, no, he doesn't occupy a DP spot because he's not here. In our books, once Hernan went back to Argentina, we only had 2 DPs in Espinoza and Arango.
I see. Yeah, he was still listed as a DP on MLS's roster profile.
Well,
for you all, which I see was a mistake.
just to let you know, those things aren't always accurate.
There you go.
Yeah, okay,
Thank you.
okay.
You have a follow-up, Joe, or is that it?
That's it for now. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Joseph. Next question from Charles Boehm, MLSsoccer.com.
Hey Bruce, thanks for taking the time today. You talked a little bit about the off-field work, the infrastructure. I wanted to ask a bit, go into a little more detail on that, on what your assessment has been of the academy system. That's an area where we saw big strides during your time in charge in New England.
Well, we have a good academy system. Luchi Gonzalez is a very good academy director, and we're hopeful we produce some players. I saw a couple of kids the other night in our second team game. The young man Spivey looks like he's going to be a good player, but hopefully it continues. Player development academy systems. If 1 out of 100 make it, that's successful. And the Earthquakes have had a good run of players out of their academy system, and I think it'll continue to grow as we improve our facilities here and we can locate all the teams together in the same place. I think it'll be beneficial. Right now, we're apart from each other, which I don't think is helpful, and hopefully as we continue to move forward and one day complete a training center, it's going to enable us to really have a great system in how we develop our academy players and move them up to the second team and then eventually the first team. So there's a lot ahead here for the Earthquakes, and hopefully we can get that job done.
And a simpler question: what was this year like for you? I know there were some stressful games, some heartburn maybe, but did you enjoy it? And are you still?
Well, I enjoyed it a lot. Believe me, the games aren't as stressful anymore because I've been doing this a long time. I've been in a lot of big games, so I haven't lost a whole lot of sleep. But we managed to screw up a few games this year that really cost us the playoffs, and that was difficult to deal with. But we have a good group of players. They've worked real hard. We have to improve the roster. I've enjoyed being here in San Jose. That's my phone ringing on my watch. I enjoyed being here. I mean, the last club I was with was in Boston, and I remember in January in preseason it was 8 degrees one day. So San Jose is a little bit better when it's 70, 75 degrees every day. The people are great. I think the support in the stands was real good this year, and our attendance improved as well. So we've made some positive strides in 2025, and there was only one way to go in 2025. We could only go up and not go backwards, and that'll make 2026 more challenging, but I think we'll be up for the task.
Okay, next question from Brian Gingrich, Santa Cruz Voice. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, good morning, Bruce. Because I know you were at the game on Sunday, seeing how the academy team was going and how the second team was going. Is there anything that you learned about some of the other players other than Spivey that you're like, hey, this guy can be useful to us next year?
Well, we had 3 or 4 first team players on the field. We had Floriani, Montali, Rodriguez, and Ricketts on the field. So obviously we're familiar with them. Some of the other players are interesting. You know, I believe 3 of them were off roster players as well. So they are all part of our first team roster. But we'll learn more in January when we come in for preseason, see if any of those players can play some kind of role on our first team roster.
And you know, and just, you know, because people ask my questions there, but you know, regarding Sunday, did you like a lot of the, you know, playing like they were on the front foot, and some even the not getting starting jobs on the big club, first roster players, how they played a man down for 68 minutes on Sunday night?
Yeah, they did a good job, and you know, that game was a much more competitive game than we saw the week before when they played Austin. Colorado had a good team. They had some experienced players from their first team as well, so it made for a good game. But think about the direction this league's going. The top teams in the league are bringing in players that we see in Miami and LAFC. Vancouver brings in Mueller. I mean, the league is the level in the league is rising considerably, and for us to move up the ladder in the league and to be in the top half and closer to the top, you know, we're going to have to attract some top quality players as well in order to be competitive, to position ourselves not only to qualify for the playoffs, but to, you know, compete at the playoffs and win a series and, you know, one-day challenge for an MLS Cup, and that's an awesome task ahead. It's a huge challenge, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of progress we can make towards those goals.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Next question, Kevin Wynn, San Francisco Standard.
Hi, Bruce. Congrats on your first season back. I was wondering, you know, having that year away to reflect, was there anything new, even if it was subtle, that you tried this year as a coach? And were there any moments or stretches you would have navigated differently in hindsight?
Oh, there's a lot of things you do differently. I mean, we don't have the time on this call to go over all of that. That's part of the challenge you have in coaching. I mean, you learn something new every day. There's always things you can do better. The first part of your question was what?
Yeah, did you try anything new in this first
Did
year
I
back?
try
in San
anything?
Jose? Even if it was subtle. No.
I mean, you always do things differently based on the people you're working with, whether it's our staff or the players themselves. They're different. They're all different. This was particularly challenging because I basically was appointed here in, I think, late November, early December. I can't even remember the date. And I didn't know a large number of players on the roster. And you spend a year actually learning about the strengths and weaknesses of your players, their personalities, all of that. Going into next season, our staff will be in a better position to understand these players and get more out of them, as well as being able to supplement the roster with some different players as well. So we learned a lot in 2025, and hopefully that is beneficial for us as we begin the process in 2026.
Nice. And just putting Inter Miami aside, I know you joked about them last week. I'm wondering what you make of the landscape of the league today, knowing that, you know, some teams spend a lot and struggle, and other teams with a limited budget do very well. I'm like, could you maybe expand on where you see San Jose fitting in that picture?
Well, we're probably not going to spend like Miami or LAFC or the Galaxy, but we can do better. You know, that happens in a lot of sports. You look at for many years in Major League Baseball, Tampa Bay exceeded expectations all the time. You see that today a little bit in the NFL. You see it in the NBA. You know, the Boston Celtics, a team that I followed in my years in Boston, they're now 0-3 to start the season. The nice part is they have 78 more games to play, but that's all part of sport. And you know, we have to overachieve here to be successful, and we know that's all part of how we're dealing with it at this end. But again, I look at 2025 as a year where we made progress, and there's no reason to believe we can't do it in 2026. But you did point out some teams that are not funded the way the top teams are, and it's successful. And I think that the examples are today Philadelphia and Vancouver. And perhaps that's probably a model that we have to follow as well. And they're being successful by developing some players at the academy level and complement them with some good international players. And that's certainly going to be the model that we have to follow. And we'll try to see if we can be more successful in 2026.
All right, thank you, Kevin. We'll move on to Carlos Justiz, NBC Telemundo.
Hi, Bruce. I remember when you had your presser to begin the season, you said that everything that happened this season will be progress compared to what happened the season prior. And the leap that the team took from that moment to where we are today, even if you couldn't achieve making the playoffs, was tremendous. And then there's growth in the attendance. There was growth in how the team was followed. How, and maybe you already said this, but how internally with the work that you did, how happy you are where you at, and where's the next step that you want to take the team?
Well, I'm pleased. I think we can make this a really competitive franchise, and we're in a marketplace that's very diverse, which is great for our sport. The resources are here to run our club as a good business model. Silicon Valley is outstanding. The climate is great, and I look at our stadium, and I've said this a number of times, and I'm going to tell our owner this as well as maybe our new owner. I think we can make PayPal Park like Cameron Indoor Stadium in college basketball. We don't need to have a big modern soccer stadium. What we have here is pretty good, and we upgraded a bit. It could be really a unique facility. So there's a lot of potential in this marketplace for this team. So I'm hopeful that we can do that as we move forward.
Do you have any follow-ups, Carlos? Okay. Thank you. We'll move on to Simon Campbell from the San Francisco Business Times. Go ahead, Simon.
Hi, Bruce. Just another question on Bo LaRue. Just wondering what you found most impressive with his ability to come in and just perform in his first season. And perhaps, is there anything that you'd like to see him perhaps do more of, work on, add to his repertoire? What can you tell us there?
Again, can you clarify that question? I'm not quite sure what you're asking for.
Oh, sorry, just on Bo LaRue.
Bo LaRue. Okay.
Yeah, so just curious what you made of his ability to come in and just perform fairly seamlessly in his debut season, and then what is there that you'd like to
Well,
see?
he did well. He needs to be more complete as a player, and we need to find out what an ideal position for him is in the midfield. You know, he's. I thought he got worn out a little bit as he hit the second half of the season. He has to have a little bit more stamina and a little bit more aggressiveness. His attacking qualities are pretty good. He's a good finisher, as we've seen. He scored 5 goals, and a number of them were spectacular. He can be a better passer of the ball in the final third of the field, and then he has to be physically stronger to deal with, obviously, some of the physicality that we have in our league. But for first year, I mean, really, it's his first year of professional soccer. I know he played in the second team in 2024, but for the first year, with a player of his background, he did an outstanding job.
So, and just one follow-up on that. What do you think his development perhaps says about the success or otherwise of MLS Next at this stage of that particular program's existence?
Well, you know, I think anytime you have a reserve league, it's a positive. You know, I haven't followed all the teams in MLS and how they're benefiting from the reserve league, but you know, it is a positive. I remember when we started the league in '96, we clearly had nothing like that. So the league's improving. They'll continue to improve that league as well, and hopefully continue to produce good American players. Not only American players, but there are young international players in the league as well. So overall, it's been a positive.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks. We'll have one last live question, then we have a couple of remote questions to round out the press conference. Last live question. Go ahead, Paula Marie, 1010 KQI.
Good morning. Thank you for your time, Bruce. Based on the stats, attendance growth 12%. You guys have a new record on September 13 versus LAC at Levi Stadium, 50,000, 1978. What are some positives would you like to take in the process of building the culture and identity for the next year? Thank you so much.
Well, it was a great day in terms of the fans in this marketplace. It wasn't a great day for our team. We got beat up pretty good. Good learning experience for us, but I think Levi Stadium has shown that it's a great venue for soccer, and it will be for the World Cup. It was simply outstanding. We had great weather. They had outstanding performances by their designated players. So it was a great day for soccer in San Jose, Santa Clara area. I just wish the outcome was a little bit better, but it was great to see 50,000 fans there, and hopefully we do it again, and the result is a little bit more favorable for our team.
Thank you, Paula. We have one or two remote questions here, Coach. This one is from Enrique Gutierrez from Univision. First, two questions. First one is, learning from this year, what is your approach to connect and engage with younger players in today's modern and technology-driven environment, and what does that mean in terms of how your direct communication with players has evolved over time?
Not sure I understand that question. You don't need modern technology to communicate with players. It's we're with them on a daily basis, and there needs to be open lines of communication. I don't know if that answers the question, but
I think so. Second,
I would say this, that obviously because of the internet and all the social media, there are a lot of issues that players have to deal with every day, and they need to be smart about it. But with our club, we've had no issues. The players have been great.
The second question from Enrique, totally different topic. As Landon Donovan, your former player, is to be inducted into the San Jose Sports Hall of Fame here on November 5, can you share a story or anecdote that you had with Landon that depicts his character that made him the player he was?
Well, I had Landon. I saw Landon probably when he was 16, 17 years old, play against my DC United team in Bradenton, Florida, in a preseason scrimmage when he was there in residency with the U17s, and he was quite a young, confident punk at the time. And then he grew up to be a very bright, mature, intelligent man, and he came back and played for me at the end of his career with the LA Galaxy. He just simply volunteered to come back to help us in the playoffs and when he was at the end of his career. And he was simply outstanding in his attitude and his mentality. He's a special person, very bright, was a great player. He's a player that I rarely had to say anything to once the opening whistle was blown. He understood the game. He was a winner. He won a lot of championships. He was great for me. The national team, I remember the great goal he scored against Mexico in the 2002 World Cup. So I just have a number of positive things to say about Landon. I know today He has an outstanding family. He's going to be honored here in San Jose, and I'm sure down the road he'll be honored at many other venues in our country for his contributions to the sport. So he's an outstanding person, and it'll be a great day to see him back in San Jose to receive his award. Okay?
All right.